What's up, man?
Oh, are you saying hi first today?
I am.
You must be in a good mood, Eli.
I'm trying to be.
You're in a good mood. You got a couple dudes here Brendan shot with.
I know we got some meatheads in here elevating the room.
It's always a good time when you got some meatheads in the room.
It is, dude.
Fellow,
it is.
Real meatheads that actually
That's right.
watch their diet and look shredded.
That's right.
That's the real meathead. Always fun. That music always gets me cranking, man. Long cut. Like those dudes. They're on tour right now. Did I say that last time on the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Good guys.
What do we got here today, man? Let's go into it. Well, you're kind of waiting for me for the first time ever.
Well, you said hi. You fucking said hi first.
Welcome.
So now I'm like, oh, he's now taking the torch.
Welcome.
I don't even know why I'm here now.
To the Day One $0 podcast, everyone. If your first time checking it out, appreciate you being here. I am one of the hosts here, Eli Schmidt, and my partner Will Grimes. Boom, there he is.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Tell everyone who we got here.
Yeah,
I'm excited for this
some
one.
good friends, man. I've known these guys for a long time, and don't interact a ton, like, because we're fucking working, right? Everybody's working, doing their grind, and doing their thing, and but we've got Max here.
What's going on?
We've got Justin here, fellow Marine Justin here. We're gonna get into their company, but these guys have been grinding, man. Like, I think when I first got into real estate, three and a half years ago, it's about the same time you guys were cranking jaywalkers, right? And super cool. We had another young buck on not too long ago, but man, we're as much as we're trying to grow and expand, we've had some really cool dudes / big names, right? Like the Andy Frisellas, the Ben Newmans, the Iron Cowboys. Those are big names, but they're also just cool fucking dudes, right? We were so appreciative when they were on our podcast, and we've been on theirs, but something that I still like want to make sure we do no matter what. It's like just watching guys that are on the come up right now, that are on the grind. Mm-hmm. Man, that's what really gets my gears going. It's just like watching guys in the trenches,
especially
right?
guys that are really doing it, man. Because there's a lot of guys that appear to be on the come up and appear to be doing some shit.
Fuck
but
'em.
You never see a product come out. You never see their advertisements come across your page. Like you guys, man, like I knew you guys were kind of doing your thing and just kind of knew you guys from like the local fitness scene. But then I'm on Instagram and I'm seeing like, the best part is like you're seeing high quality ads that I'm actually engaged with. Like, ooh, that's a product I would like. And then I see the name at the end. I'm like, oh, that's those fucking guys.
Or Sexy Max on Instagram.
Sexy Max on Instagram.
I connect with that. But the bottom line is, man, here's the core of it, in my opinion. They had a great idea, and they fucking got after it. Mm-hmm. That's what that is, and I'm excited to talk to them, and maybe we can even pull some ideas for ourselves. But Justin, man, why don't you introduce yourself first? So I know you're the less of the talker.
Yeah, I'm
so I'm going to put you on the spot. Just who you are, what you're all about, where the Jaywalker name came from.
Yeah. Justin Freeman. Originally from Louisiana, moved here in Colorado for high school. Then shortly afterwards, went to the Marine Corps, like yourself. Yeah, stayed a couple years and kind of realized it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted control over my life and how it ended, and everything was planned out for me when I was in there. Ended up getting married. Every Marine does.
So you were in the Marine Corps.
Yep.
You were an armorer.
Yep.
And you got big fucking arms. We're not going to talk about that? You're just going to go right over it?
I've always genetics. You know this. You lived with someone with genetics. And, I had the genetics. And, a lot of people when I was in told me I should be a bodybuilder. Why haven't you tried it? So, went on leave 1 year, did a bodybuilding show, got second. And I was like, oh, that was good for someone who didn't diet or anything. I just showed up.
Damn, man. Motherfucker, dude. I want to hear that. Yeah.
So, after I got out, I was like, let me give it a try again, So I decided to do the same show I did when I was in the military. I took a 3-year break because, I was deploying and everything like that. Came back, there was a guy who had helped me the first time, a couple weeks, and I was like, hey, let me give it a try again. Only dieted for about a month. Most people died 3 or 4 months. Dieted for a month, went into the show, all natural, didn't try anything, won the whole show.
Here's what's cool, because we're going to get back to that. But, man, here's what's going to be super intriguing. You got away with it there, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, like I'm sure you had to take it serious and start getting dialed in. And here's what's fun about entrepreneurship and business. Nobody is gifted. Even if you got talent for business, everybody's starting from fucking scratch and nobody knows who you are, which would be super intriguing, right? And Max is like my favorite Instagram dude. Max, what's your Instagram?
Oh, Maximus_McFits.
Maximus McFit.
Classic.
Just funny shit, just getting after it. And I do like the lighthearted side because bottom line is business is super hard. But man, you always make it look fun, and you're having a good time, and you're out with different people and doing the stretch pants and things like that. But man, I got to know and if you guys don't know, we're gonna put all the links into the podcast so you guys can find Jaywalkers. But Jaywalkers is an apparel company, primarily pants, and they put like 7-gallon Deep Rock water things into their pants to show you, and then they go right back to where they're supposed to. You almost think it's fake when you watch it, but they've been doing it for a while. But Max, man, like, how did you get involved with Justin, and like, what did that look like for you guys? And man, I'm so answer at your own leisure, but I'm so curious about the name. You know, like where that came from, like, because I was a cop for a while. It's like, oh, you a jaywalker? What are you trying to say? You just some punk ass bitch not using the crosswalk? You fucking going against the grain?
Going against it. You ever see that guy in the gym that works out in jeans? You're like, what is the guy doing on the leg press? And he's working out in jeans. He's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. So, against the grain.
Exactly.
Rogue, maybe a different form of rogue. Going rogue kind of thing. But man, I'm curious. Like, how did you guys meet? And then more importantly, when did that decision come to like go at this together? Was that like at the very, very beginning? Did you already have the idea, or how did this kind of come about?
So we had like all worked at the same spot. So like, we were doing Fit Republic. I was still working part-time. He was full-time, and I was working a security job. And, like I was working a security job and the pay was a little bit better. So I told you I cut down the hours at Fit Republic. And, I came by him and, he was putting in the hours. The store was doing well. And after I knew it was kind of going down, and he was bringing it back up. And I was like, man, this dude's putting 60, 70 hours in. Even on his off time, he's still working for them. And I'm like, I'm making just as much as him doing part-time security. And I was just like, man, like, he is like, he doesn't, I was just like, dang, I don't know if this dude sees his value or not. And I'm like, just watching him like bring up the store and like, this dude is good at business.
And that's an interesting thing you say, like, man, I don't see they saw your value, because let's correlate that back to fitness. Phil Heath himself has a bodybuilding coach, correct? Because it's like, man, probably for you when your head's down and you're grinding and you're getting after it and you're trying to win there, no, like you don't always have that peripheral vision to like see your own value or to see where your expansion was. So it's cool that you kind of identified that.
I was outside looking in, and I was just like, man, he's really like, he's good at this, And like I had been at Fit Republic a little bit longer, so I knew like from other stores like how much he was growing the store. That was like, this dude could just do this by himself.
So you're smart, not just sexy.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, so how did that look like from your side, man? Like when you're doing that, and then Justin approaches you, and you guys are. Did you have like a proposition for him? Like, hey, I'm starting this company?
It was kind of like So Max is a go-getter. So Max is a go-getter. Like he's good with initiating things. Like if he has an idea, he'll jump on it. Me, I'm a procrastinator. Like I'll have a good idea, and like it'll sound perfect, but I'll never like make this jump. But like I have it laid. Like, once I make the jump, I'll get it done. You know what I'm saying? So I had worked a security job, and like we were just talking about the bodybuilding stuff, I was growing and shrinking all the time. So one day I'm like, 165. 2 months later, I'm 210. So it was hard for me to find clothes. And I found, I went to a store one day, and I had been shopping all day, and I finally found a pair of pants that fit. So I was wearing that sucker like every day at my security job. And, I came into the store, and like I was like, oh, I like that color green, man, blah, blah, blah. Those pants are nice. And I had 2 pairs that are green and a black pair. And then I remember I'd always come in to talk to him because he's a people person. He's building the store. I like to see how everything's going. And then I come in one day, and I go to reach for something, and I rip my pants. And I'm like, dude, this is my favorite pair of pants. It took me forever to get it. And I was like, I don't think I'll be able to find another pair, blah, blah, blah. And like, he was talking about, like, why don't you just make your own? And I was like, He's like,
thanks, Max, fucker. Oh, it must be nice. Must be easy to say that at a supplement store.
Yeah, I'm like, He's like, if you do it, I'll go in on it with you. And I'm just like, I don't know about that, man.
Well, yeah,
like,
I remember you were wearing those. You came in a few times wearing those one pants that I liked a lot, and I was like, those are like really cool. Dope, and he showed me that they actually stretched, and I ended up getting a pair myself, and I'm like, I love these, and I'm like, dude, what? Why don't we maximize take this concept and maximize it? Because they stretch a little bit, but what if we like increase that like tenfold?
And had a certain fit for more athletic guys too.
Yeah, exactly. So it was hard because I was in the bodybuilding scene, so everybody I knew, they could not find pants that fit because they had little waist, big quads. So like searching for pants was like almost impossible. Yeah. So and like I said, it took me like the whole day, and I was like, there's no market for it. Like there's not pants meant for guys with small waist, big legs. I was like, I was like, dude, we should just do it, And like that was it sucked because like we're so close-minded, like limiting ourselves just to bodybuilders. But once we actually started like, getting people's like feedback and stuff, it was like we realized
you guys have a
market.
Good one. I think it's a bigger market because your guys' credit, like the name is cool.
Yeah.
The logo, the branding that you guys are bringing around it, and like not everybody in your stuff is just like this huge bodybuilder. You guys have a lot of like fit people, but just really cool looking people on your Instagrams. And we were talking before this podcast. Go, hey man, what's really cool about the relationships for you guys is just being industry disruptors. Like we were talking about real estate agents. this whole era of like the 3-piece suit, and it looks nice. We're not against it, but man, you're hustling and bustling and you're showing homes and you're going around. Like, credit to the internet and to HGTV. Like, you've got a lot of like top realtors on TV, minus Ryan Serhant, right? That guy's still committed to a suit, that wear super nice clothes, and they have like the black or the dark blue leather shoes with the white rubber bottom, and they wear super nice fitted pants with an untucked yet fitted shirt. And it's a great look. And I'm like, man, your guys' pants have a great look, a great feel, and they're like they're stretchable. So whether you're a bodybuilder or not, just climbing upstairs, getting in and out of cars, just having a pant that can stretch, that's durable for how active realtors have to be. Man, like imagine like a female one. Like how many females love wearing sporty shoes?
Tights.
Or they wear leggings everywhere.
They wear leggings everywhere.
And that was
the
another thing
Jaywalker females,
Yeah.
who like it looks just as nice as the men's pair, but they're fitted for like business casual. There's such a market for that, but very little companies have like that swagger and that good crisp feel to them where people would actually like, yeah, that's fucking cool. And you guys are really doing a good job with that, you know? And like, but kind of rewinding a little bit. So you guys have this idea, all right, cool, fuck it, we're going to do it. Like, what did that look like? How did it start, Max? How did it start?
Well, I guess first we had to figure out how to outsource the fabric and stuff, right?
Yep.
So we ended up we knew somebody else locally that had a clothing company. So we started talking to him and tried to figure out if we could use his manufacturers. And so we kind of had a middleman for a little while. So we were going through this guy who was like a middleman between us and the manufacturer he used.
A broker.
Yeah. So
cheers.
I'm assuming that he probably got, some sort of deal out of that, like bringing
as he should. He got you guys a relationship.
100%. And so we were going through that, and we started by, sending out a couple pairs of pants that we liked, like kind of how the fit was and stuff. And we told them our idea and how we wanted to maximize that stretch on them.
Yep.
And so we went, I don't even know how many. We sampled so many different fabrics.
And they're not cheap to sample.
Yeah.
I bet.
And we're broke. Like,
like hundreds of dollars for like a sample.
Yeah, exactly.
Just one pair of pants.
And you guys ain't starting up like a Teespring shop or something like that.
No,
this was
real
before we even got a
production.
loan. So this was all our money, our personal money going into this.
Exactly. So when we started, like, obviously we were like every average person. Like, we didn't have that much money. So what me and him did, it's nice to have a business partner, because it's like doing it all on your own does a lot of stress. So it took a lot of financial stress off of me having Max there. And so we were like both putting up half. Like, so every month we'd put like $500. Like, hey, say $500 is going towards the business. And so we're using that $500 to sample out, like to buy the clothes that we like and to ship it out. Shipping's not cheap. It's like $100 for one pair of pants.
Well, and here's why, man. It still takes them the same amount of time to set up machines and make
Yeah.
one pair of pants as it does to make 100.
Exactly.
So all that setup time and prep time, it's the same. So you're still gonna pay a chunk.
Exactly.
And, man, I'm glad you said teammate too, because one of the most uncommon things Eli and I talk about, that's the most obvious, that we talk about all the other intricacies with social media and how we've had some success. And we're gonna get into it more now that people have asked questions. But one of the most unsung things we don't talk about is the power of him and I being a partnership and like his qualities, and like we were talking about it before the podcast. We're like, hey man, I'm more like this methodical guy. Max is like, hey, if someone's doing us wrong or causing trouble, he's the guy that's like, he's ready to kill him. And I feel like Max is like, my name is Maximus Decimus Aurelius, and I will have my vengeance.
I say that every night before.
Oh, dude, what a cool name. But what do your guys, as far as like, as you guys expanded, and I'm curious to hear this, man, almost selfishly, because I got a partner in my business. People ask us like, hey, what are your guys' roles and responsibilities, and how did that come? And I think and I'm curious to hear you guys, and just prefacing a little bit, his and I's solely came from him and I have no ego toward one another. Like, I'm really good at some things. He's really good at things. We do have an overlap that we both, him and I both can execute contracts and do certain things just as well as the other. But then he's got some great qualities to him that are far beyond my reach. And I've got some qualities, that might be beyond his reach. But there was always transparency, honesty, no ego. Like, whatever fell into his strengths, it's like, cool, man, you got that. And then I took the initiative to make sure I was taking care of like my strengths. And then as we grew, roles and responsibilities had to expand, and communication was important. But how did that fall? Was it similar for you guys? Like, did you guys just vibe?
It kind of just fell into place.
Yeah, we kind of already knew. I knew his strengths and I knew mine, and like, I knew what I sucked at. So I'm like, hey, this is you. Like, I'm gonna be able to help what I can, but I know this is what you're good at.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take control of it, and I'll do the other end, because I'm good at working. I'm a good, he is very good at what he does. And like, I'm a behind the scenes person. I like consistency. So with me.
So you're like behind the scenes in the game and you're tip of the spear, going out, building the brand, funneling more ideas, more traffic, more thing. Yeah. Kind of similar to like how I roll with our business. And man, he's so good at like, no matter how much shit I shovel into the business and fun, like he's really good at the organizational tasks and the consistency behind it. I'm really good at like some coaching stuff, but man, the stability we have, from him, it's like our backbone. It's our stabilizer,
and it's all necessary. It really is. It's just that, like when you hear like the funnel, it's exactly it. You know what I mean? It's someone grabbing all the big shit and then someone kind of organizing the shit, and then it just kind of moves through.
And the past year, you guys have super been more present on social media. It's fucking baller. You got some cool sponsored athletes and some things in there, and him and I got to a tipping point. I'm curious to hear the story behind your guys'. Man, it's so fun talking to you guys because it's like we're speaking our own language to two partners, right? But him and I, we got to this point, like we'd butt heads here and there, all good. Yeah. But we got to this point where, man, we were so secure. It was never about, we don't have breakup conversations. Yeah. There is no like, well, fuck this. I'm just fucking out of here, man. Nope. Like we hit this tipping point where like, nope, we just trusted each other 100%.
Yeah.
And we knew it was there, and we were no longer concerned with like if someone's going to be here or not, or what someone's like. We grew, and we had that tipping point, and man, like if full scale, we really started to grow. Was there a tipping point for you guys in your relationship of like where it really hit that next level, and you felt like there was more commitment, more trust? Is there a funny story? Was there a good throwdown?
I guess it was. Yeah, I guess it was after the business actually started, and we saw that it was legit. So like we, like I said. It took a couple thousand, like around the like $5,000 point. Like we already kind of like knew our product. It took about 5,000. Then we knew what we wanted, and then it was like, okay, well we don't have money, we're broke. But we already had invested towards the business. So I was like, okay, we can get a loan. We're prior military, we get better rates.
Hell yeah, so fuck your credit up. Hell yeah,
so we get a little bit of discount. So we go in and like. I'm a little bit of a talker like you are. Like, I can make somebody believe something that's probably not even true.
Excuse me.
But you believe in it. And it will be true.
I sell it. You can sell it to them.
It will be true someday.
Exactly,
yeah.
Hey, listen, if I fucking believe in it, it's real. Exactly. Get on board.
So,
get on board.
We get there. We got kind of like, they ask us for a projection sheet and all this stuff. We go for a loan. And I'm just like, BSing the numbers, kind of like, all right, I think we can, this is reasonable. We can do this. Going in there, I'm showing the numbers.
Welcome
and they're like,
to America. Yeah. Trump himself fabricated numbers to
exactly.
grow. Like,
so they're like, this looks reasonable. Like, we could give you what you want. So, and it wasn't a big loan. It was $15,000.
Yeah.
Like, people think we got this massive amount. Was not. $15,000. We, got our first order after we got the loan, and we were kind of like, we'll see what happens. We got the order in, and then like, before we even launched our website, we didn't even have a website yet. We're just taking it as it comes. Yeah. So we get the pants in, and I'm just like, we know people around here. Like, we know the community around us, and people are like, you got your stuff in? I'm like, yeah. So I just go to like a barber shop, and like next thing you know, I'm just selling pants left and right. Yeah. We didn't know how many people just wanted to support us because of the people we were.
But that's so important that you went to them though too, man. Like selling shit out of your trunk, going to barbershops, going to gyms, like everybody that you were already around that was already supportive of you.
Yeah.
Like you were bringing the product to them.
Yeah, and we didn't even have a product yet. They didn't know what it felt like. They just knew we were going to do something.
Well, you had a product. You just bring it to them, right?
So they we for the first couple of weeks, we just like sold like just people that we knew. And we're like, after a couple weeks, we're like, man, we can really do this. Like, I'm bringing max cash. Like, dude, I think we're going to be good. We're already making the money back, Yeah. And so then he's like, all right. He's like I said, he's a go-getter. He's like, all right, we need to get this website up. We're selling, like, using our time to go to people. We need to get this website up.
Yeah, e-commerce, get all that organized.
He's like, we need to get it out faster to people. Because, like, us just...
trying to pay somebody to do our website and stuff, and they were taking so long that I just said screw it, and I just built it myself.
Squarespace for it, man.
Because we needed to get it going,
dude. And it's another gold nugget too. Like especially when you're starting out, and like all these young entrepreneurs listening right now. This podcast was in my basement before it was ever right now, right? Like we're still
that's where our storage was.
Where we want to be.
In the basement. In his mom's basement.
But here's what's so important. Like someone's taking too long. Like no one will care more about your shit than you.
Yeah.
And that's just how this world, and it's all good. But having the initiative, like, okay, it's taking too long. Let me get onto Squarespace, Fourspace, whatever it's called, right? And you just let me figure out how to do it. It doesn't have to be the most innovative website on the fucking planet. Some good photos, some good structure, but it's got e-commerce and it's got our stuff on there, and it gives people access. Like at the end of the day, brand building, real estate, whatever it is, there's a product to be sold. yes, integrity, have great products and all that. But at the end of the day, like, you can't have friction around people wanting your product.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever people can access your product and then want to pay, it's got to be seamless. You don't want that to be hard, right? You want to make sure you can get your product to your customers, especially the ones that are already supporting you. But like, dude, it's that shit. It's selling shit at barbershops, and it's, oh, this is taking too long. How about I just build it? And like, that's him. This dude is he's like the born entrepreneur, never wanted to go to school. Entrepreneur at 17 years old, fuck the world like Green Day. That's him, dude. But it's so cool that he is, and it's cool that like, very similar, man. Like, I'll build it myself.
Yep,
like, where do you think that comes from with you, man? Like, being resourceful like that.
Honestly, I don't really know. I've just always been a very, very fast-paced person. Always try to get things done as quick and efficient as possible.
But you didn't call and complain that people weren't getting it done fast enough. You got it done.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. My dad has always tried to start his own business and do things himself. Not gonna say that he did a great job of it, but I think I probably get that from my dad.
Right.
A lot of times it is DNA, man. Like, that's one of those things, kind of like musicians, I feel like.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, if your family plays music, it's kind of inherent in you. I find that with business. And that's honestly one of my questions with you guys is, was that in any of your guys' family or anything like that?
It definitely not really in my family. Like I said, my dad always tried to, but never successfully did it. But at the time when I was at working retail at Fit Republic and doing personal training, I was actually going to school for exercise physiology. So my game plan was actually to get my my doctors of physical therapy. And then I started working at Fit Republic, saw this company growing. I loved how it grew, and things didn't work out, and I decided that I wanted to go the entrepreneur route instead. So I completely changed up the whole direction of my entire life.
Yeah, neither one of us graduated college.
Yeah, I literally put in like 3 years, and then there was no way I could do it at the same time.
I'm the outlier that went to school. All you guys, but it's cool and it's interesting because we are in front of a lot of entrepreneurs, and especially like in the real estate space, and it sounds so basic. But it's not like the whole like, man, something's taking too long or somebody's not quite able to get this website because like they're kind of hooking me up, but it's at the bottom of their priority list and it's going to take 6 months to get my website. Build it myself. Like, do you know how rare that is?
Yeah.
Dude, it sounds so probably basic to you, basic math.
Yeah.
It's not, man. It's like, it's just finding an opportunity in things versus like being stuck on obstacles and finding like excuses as to like why things aren't moving forward versus like, hey, I'll just take the torch back and I'll carry it as long as I can until I got to try to pass it back off to something or someone. Man, so it's so cool. When did you guys feel like, so you made that first run and that's when you knew like, all right, we got something.
It's going to be okay. Like after the first couple of weeks, we were like, man, we can do this. Like we're already paying back a loan. And I was like, we can pay this off at the end of the year if we wanted to, so like he started the website and like, the first month it wasn't that great, but like my goal was like, hey, we sell 2 pairs of pants a day, do the math. We're on top of it, And then we did the first month and we're like, okay, we hit our goal. And then, like we started pushing marketing, that's what he's good at. He's the marketer. So
he's good at taking
instead of taking the money. So
not mad at it.
Exactly. So a lot of problems, people like want to spend the money that they're getting. So we kept working our job so that we didn't have to use the money for the business. The money for the business goes directly back into the business. We didn't make that much the first couple of months, but we realized we couldn't pay ourselves. Like we had to just keep doing our side jobs and making sure everything went back into
for a while.
Yeah, we didn't pay ourselves like for at least a year.
Anything.
Minimum. So we were just like everything we realized like in order to grow it, you have to keep putting more and more. The more money we're going to give the manufacturer, the better deal is going to give us. So we realized like we needed to,
Now your margins go up.
Yeah, exactly. So we were just like, everything has to go back into it. Like none of it's going to go to us. And then, holiday season hit and that's when we're like, okay, this is real. Like we had our stuff in his mom's basement. And like when that holiday season hit that first year, she was like, I'm not going to lie. I thought you guys were going to do this for like a couple months and then just stop. And then she like, next thing you know, her basement is like full of pants. And she's just like, I can't believe this. I thought you guys were just joking. And we're like, no.
Are you guys boxing up all the orders?
Yeah, I do everything manually. So
Yeah.
they think it's a big team. Like it's literally just me and Max. Yeah. I get people on emails like your team. So I'm like, they're talking to a 50% owner right here. Talking to me like I suck. I was like, and I do my best job because like obviously when it's your business, it's a direct reflection of you. So it's like I don't want anyone else doing my job right now because it comes back on me as a company. Like we are the company. So it's like I do my best of my ability, and then it's like at the end of the day, the customer, like we learned from Kurt, the customer comes first. Like you got to make the like they're always right. The customer always right. So that was the one thing, like, regardless of whatever we had a relationship with Fit Public, there are some key values I did learn. The customer is always right. So a customer coming to me all incorrect, they ordered the wrong item. I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I know they ordered the wrong size. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry about that, and I proceed to give them what they want, because at the end of the day, they're going to be a returning customer.
Man, we've evolved from that a little bit. You know what I feel like? Customer's always right. And then there's some assholes.
Oh, there definitely
there's always some assholes.
And like, here's where
that's why he does the customer service and I do not.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and like as you guys grow your team, I'll be interested to hear, because like something that's been super important to Eli and I is we've got two forms of customers now. We've got people that are buying and selling homes, and we've got agents that work with us that we give business to execute the deal. Correct? Well, that's kind of my customer as well, right? Like they're part of the team, and what you start noticing is like, yep, customers are always right, because especially like in our world, if they say something that's incorrect or had or an expectation or a thought that just isn't right, hey, they're right, because hey, we can just take the extreme ownership in the fact that hey, we just didn't inform you properly.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we reverse, educate, come up with a game plan, mitigate what's ever going wrong, make it right. Cool. But then there's like that other type of customer that's just an asshole. And then if I get a call about that, and if you think I'm going to like go torch my agent when I know you're an asshole, you're wrong.
Yeah,
you can get fucked.
Yeah.
Like I got my agents back.
Yeah, we just had an experience like that actually a couple days ago.
Like, man, and like I kind of took that from Gary Vee. I didn't take, but I learned that a little bit from when Gary Vee was talking a couple years ago, when he talks about like how important VaynerMedia is to him and all the people, like their culture, their work ethic, how well everyone does, and like, hey, the likelihood of my person not doing good and you being an asshole is almost guaranteed. And if you're going to be super difficult or demeaning or whatever, and you think I'm going to go write up my employee because you just want to be on a soapbox and complain, that business can just walk out of the door and we'll go get more, because this guy that's working for me is my longevity, my relationship. He's the guy that's going to sustain more business. You're going to complain. I'm going to go yell at this guy and fire this guy. And then when our transaction's done, you're not sending us business.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's that fine line of like people being super understanding or kind, and maybe they got different personalities, but they're more than cordial working with. Even if a mistake happens or they weren't quite informed, you make those adjustments. Everyone's happy, good to go. Even if it costs some money sometimes, all good.
Exactly.
Those people that get toxic, man, I hope you don't ever think I'm going to go bitch out my agent, unless it's really my agent's fault. But man, more times than not, it's not. So like that's where I start. Customer's always right, like in some aspects, until you have more people that, and it's like,
we just had an incident like that, and I was like, I'm about to let this guy have it. But Max knows how I am. Like, he literally had a customer call him on his personal phone, and he's like,
I don't even know how he got my number.
How did this guy get my number?
Yeah.
Like a customer asked to return a size, and I was like, right away, like, I respond back within 24 hours. I respond back, send him his return label. Apparently he didn't even see it, like, cause it came from our actual email. So he's like writing us a Facebook review, writes all this bad stuff about me personally, like not responding back.
Yep.
And then I got Max, hey man, this guy just called me. He said you didn't do your job and this and that. And I'm like, hold on. I know I did. I remember this guy's name. So I go in there and I like look and like, oh, there's the evidence, a screenshot, I send it to him. I'm like, all right, man, I'm about to let this dude have it. Then I get on there and I like send an email. I was like, can you please take this Facebook? And I'm just like super nice about it.
How was that conversation between you guys? Like, you get that call, right?
Yeah.
And then how did it go between you guys?
Oh man, I got the messages. Like, I'm just, I see I'm doing everything, so I see it all, and it's just like, I'm very
Max,
good.
were you at first like frustrated or thought like?
I saw the email from that guy already, because we have one email that we shared that a lot of the customer support emails go to. So sometimes I look at them and then I remark them as unread, so he still sees them or whatever. But I knew from what he said when he called me that it was the exact same guy, and I was just kind of confused like how he got my number. But I was like, hey, yeah, listen, like our customer service will definitely get back to you. And I remembered in my head too, seeing that email was maybe like 10 hours prior. So I knew that he didn't even give him, he gave him maybe less than 12 hours to respond. So,
oh man.
Yeah, I knew it was like not like a big, so like, yeah, when I talked to you, I wasn't like, hey, get on this. I was just like, yeah, that guy called me. He's pretty pissed off.
And that's where like him and I are at now too. Like him and I have been working together long enough. Like we understand each other. Like even if something bad happens or even if something like is on me, like he knows I'm harder on myself than anybody. So I don't, and then vice versa. We're like, hey, we came to that point where it's like, benefit of doubt is there.
The mutual trust.
Yeah. We have pride in what we do. So like I trust him. Like when he does anything related to advertising, I trust his. And his
check in
judgment
with
on
each
it.
other. Like, do you guys do like, do you guys meet once a week?
Yeah, we do like Wednesday. We'll meet up because that's when he's like, working.
Yeah.
Not really actually working. Well, he's working on the business. He's getting paid to do his job.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I love his hump days.
Yeah, we meet up on Wednesdays and kind of just go over what the plan is for the next week. Like some weeks there's nothing. We need deload weeks every once in a while because like we'll go crazy for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Oops, sorry about that.
I got you.
But definitely that's kind of our thing.
What do you guys feel has been like the number one thing as far as like you guys going from, hey, you should just make your own pants, to like where you're at now? What do you think is the number one contributor to that as far as business wise, right? And then from where you're at now to where you want to be, what do you feel is going to be the most important piece to grow into?
What do you mean? Like what kind of helped us grow the most?
Yeah.
I mean, I would just say overall, I mean, obviously growth is mostly like marketing and stuff. So, and just being overall like consistent with it, we try to post, 3 times a week. We always at all times have something like on our story. We expanded into using different social medias and stuff too. So obviously like one of the big platforms now is TikTok. So I've actually started putting a lot more time into TikTok and stuff, and that's actually helped us out.
Your product
a lot.
seems prime for TikTok.
Yeah, it's helped us out a ton. We've gotten to work with some really cool big influencers like Iron Sanctuary, Ryan Stacks, Kale Brown, this Aquaman dude, Sherman Tank. All these dudes are over 1 million, and they've kind of been helping us out on like TikTok, kind of promote our pants and stuff. And I think that's a marketing route that a lot of businesses have not even taken advantage of yet, but it works so well.
And I'm trying to pull a little bit out of you guys too. I also feel like the product, right? So like when we talk about like from the real estate agents, like the real estate brokers, right? You're so concerned with like, where do I get a lead? I need a lead. Let me call Zillow leads. Let me get on a team that will give me leads. And like, there's just not enough conversation behind, hey, houses are commodities, okay? Yeah. You're the fucking product at first. Yep. Yes, the commercial property will become the product. It will be appealing. There'll be value to it. However, prior to that, like when you're having an interaction with people, your ability to execute as a professional and educate them on a process and manage the process during, like, you're the fucking product first, And I felt like when you guys were talking about the money you put into your product and how many samples, and not only samples and money, but time. You had to wait for that sample that was not important to wherever you were getting it from because you're ordering one and they know you're not going to order 100,000. Even once you get the product right, you're probably going to order 1,500 of them. Like you're not ordering 10, 20,000 of them. You're just at that. You're not as high in the priority list quite yet, right? When you're new. Yeah. So there's money and time, right? And it's like, but the money you guys were putting in was like your own money. You guys are making a couple bucks doing your other jobs. And then the money you're making, you're putting into it. Like, because at the end of the day, like you wanted a good fucking product. And I don't think that's talked about enough nowadays. And especially when now step 2 is like, man, we're branding, we're doing some cool marketing. I feel like you guys are being yourselves on social media, right? Like you, quiet, you don't like it. So you're being you, incognito. You're being you and having fun. But then like, man, the people that you guys sponsor as far as that wear your brands, or the people that these big names you're talking about, do they like your pants?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm fucking getting at.
We actually offered people money, and they're like, "No, we just want the product."
I tell people literally, if they love the pants, do a video. If you don't like the pants, still keep them, but we don't expect anything from you. But if you love them, please.
Cool.
And you know how you can say that
promoting the pants.
Yeah.
Like for us,
and that's what we did with UFC fighter Drew Dober. That was the very first athlete that we worked with. I gave him pants I literally met him at 24 Hour Fitness. Was like, dude, I always see you like wearing these tight pants. Like, try these out. These are gonna be like the fit you like, but you'll actually be able to move in them.
Yeah.
And so he texted. I was like, if you don't like them, keep them. If you love them, hit me up. He hit me up like the next day. Was like, dude, these are freaking amazing. These are the only pants I've been able to put on, and I could still like get in a street fight and beat the shit out of somebody,
dude. And he could really do it.
Yep.
But like, this is what I'm talking about, man. Like these people that are getting around you, and you guys, like the reason why you guys are able to market more. You got some big names coming around that are having fun, like with putting the pants on and doing some cool shits because they actually like the fucking brand. And like, this is where you start seeing some companies out there that do decent, but then you start getting those outliers that really just break the mold because people actually like First Form protein.
Yep.
People actually like first form greens and reds. People actually like jaywalkers, and that shit gets contagious between the guys you are helping. They have their own sphere, their own network. That's like, hey, Drew, what are you wearing, bros? They're bad. Oh, dude, they are badass. Oh, is that like your sponsorship? Yeah. Yeah, but they're actually fucking cool. You don't think Denver Bronco people talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're sponsored by something like, nah, bro, don't. It's just money for me, bro. Don't use their pre-workout or nah. Versus like they get sponsored by a company like, no, dude, their pre-workout's actually fucking good. Let me get you some. And then all of a sudden, before you know, like every Denver Bronco's taking something because like behind the scenes, whether it's a sponsor or not, people are going to gravitate to what they like. So this whole caveat of business is like, man, whether you're the product or you have a product, you can't water down how important it is to have a great fucking product, right? Like you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I talk about it all the time. So like, I felt like, man, it was so cool to hear you guys investing your own money and how important just one style of pants was. And I'm sure you guys are going to gravitate into more stuff in addition to just pants, right? But man, it was like this one thing. Yeah, that's these pants, this model had to be this good. Like that's so cool, man.
We would not compromise on the material. Like we tried so many different materials. I mean, and that was a material we liked, the one that we initially got the pants from. But I reached out to the guy who, we found a manufacturer. It took us a while, but we ended up finding a manufacturer that actually manufactured the original pair of pants that I liked.
Right.
And I was like, so how much do we need to order and this and that? Oh, it's like minimum order $100,000. And we're like, man,
it's like 12,000 pieces per color, minimum of like 6 colors. We're like, what? How are we supposed to fund
like 100,000? I mean, we're just starting. We're a startup company. We have no money. Like, can you just? But that was the minimum because he's a big company supplying to a big chain all across America. It wasn't like a little. This guy supplies to a big chain store across the whole. So I was like, yeah, I get it. It's his minimum $120,000 is for.
Now, this person you're talking about, was he a broker or is he the owner?
No, he owns this brand.
Okay,
he owned the brand of the pants that I originally found that I liked.
So he wasn't the broker for it. He's the actual guy that owned it.
Yeah, so we couldn't go through him. It's like $100,000 minimum. So that's when Max got in contact with another local guy that we knew wasn't like, he's local, so obviously he doesn't have to do as big of orders. So we needed to find someone with a lower minimum. So Max resourced another guy out, and
we eventually had to pay him out.
So Max, like I said, he's that guy.
Yeah,
he initiates everything. Me, I'm that guy. I kind of I'm quiet, but I kind of analyze the situation. No one does anything for free unless it's going to benefit him. So I'm like looking at it, like, what is this guy getting out of it? And I'm like thinking long term, what's going to happen if we keep this guy here? He's going to get a cut. It's going to slow us down. So I just kind of, talked it over with him. Like, hey, I know this guy helped us out, and I want to pay him for his time because, I don't expect people's time for free. But, we're trying to expand fast, and we can't wait for someone in the middle to make it, decide when they're ready. So I was like, hey, we need to.
Well, and that's where, like, good brokers, like for us, like, there's things that we spend money on.
Yeah.
And if someone's, like, having a broker that, if they're a value add, if they speed it up, if they have their own intuition and help that they can do for us that actually gives us some good pointers and they increase the experience and they allow access, that's a good broker. If they're not that value, like that's hard, and so you guys knew this broker he knew a company or he owned his own company or what?
He owned his own company, but he also had the connection for us with the manufacturer. So, but we had to go through him and, we realized the reason, we were getting a product and we wanted it a little bit cheaper, but we couldn't get it cheaper because they were already offering him a deal on his product for getting us as a client for him.
But he has his commission inside.
Yeah, so he was getting his. Hey, I'm bringing you these people. So
but we were kind of at the same time. I feel like we were kind of passing him. Yeah, so that's why we needed to just.
We knew we were going to outgrow him. Yeah, we knew we were going to outgrow him. So we like, hey, we saw.
I'll tell you how you outgrew him because you knew the manufacturer.
Exactly. So we knew him, so we can get a better deal, direct contact.
Because like a good broker, if I were brokering something that's my livelihood, you'll never know my manufacturer.
Exactly.
You fucking know me. Now, I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to have some great intuition, some good points. I'm going to make sure I'm a value to your business.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to introduce you to my supplier.
Yeah, and we knew that he had his own business to run, so we knew it was just him running his business.
He was just in a different direction.
Yeah, so we he's not going to be able to invest enough time to get us what we want, and
that's when he's not worth his time.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. If brokers aren't expediting and enhancing a situation, they're in the fucking way taking a cut.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
And so we just wanted to make sure, because it's obviously our business, so we we want to get it done faster. And like I said, we knew we were going to grow fast. Like I kind of knew after, you know, I was like, dude, I think people are really interested in this.
You know what's crazy about this? Like, you guys ever ride like a mountain bike downhill or a skateboard downhill?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Cool. So you know, like you start going, you start going fast. It's really cool, but you also realize
till the wobbles come.
No, even if you're not, even if you're, or if even if you're not, but even if you're not wobbling, you're riding it downhill, and it's like the faster you go, like it's really cool, but you start realizing, hey, the safest way down is to just I have to maintain increase speed. If I slow down or stop, I'm actually going to crash. So it's the same thing, right? Like you guys are like growing fast, but it's like, hey, that momentum actually needs to continue for us to not fucking implode. Like we can't maintain or slow down or nope. Like you got to keep riding that fucking wave until you blow the fucking roof off of it. That's what we're figuring out. It just there is, you know what I mean? Like, but it's fucking fun though. You know, like what's the number one thing you guys are working on right now? Is there any like sneak peeks we can hear about? Shirts, more pants, female pants.
Yeah, so we are actually gonna expand for because you know, like we when we initially did this, like it's like always it's like a niche. Like we knew there was a market that hadn't been hit, so we wanted to target our male crowd that like you know we're in shape and athletic. Like I said, originally,
and it's also proof of concept too.
Yeah. So it was originally bodybuilders, and we started noticing BMX bike riders, all the people, the skateboarders. They were
fucking everybody.
And we like,
who the hell doesn't want a pant that stretches that looks like jeans?
They can put their pads underneath it. So a lot of guys like that they can like literally wear their pads underneath their pants, and it's like no one would ever know. So you know, like it was originally for guys, and you know, like you know, and then the women started complaining, like, oh, what about the stuff for women? We knew the women's side was saturated. They all
like you guys have stretchy shit forever.
Exactly. So it was like they can go into a restaurant in leggings and it's fine. Like you catch me a guy in leggings going into a 5-star restaurant, they're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. So we wanted something.
Unless you're Max. If I bet Max could pull that off.
Just wear a really long shirt and I'll be good.
Exactly. So like we wanted something we could go, you know, out and jump over a fence and then go in a restaurant. People are not going to look at us like we're crazy. So it was like, you know, it's like business casual. So it's like, hey, this kind of our version of women's leggings. Like we can go anywhere in it, just like you can go anywhere in the leggings. So that market was saturated. We didn't want to deal with it. So we just focused on the male side. And then like females, you know, they would get their boyfriend's pants and they put them on it like, oh, I love how this fits. So they wanted to try it, but we had sized it for men. Like we had got a whole bunch of guys and kind of did an average thigh to waist circumference, and like obviously women are built different, and guys don't want their ankles super tailored tight. If they were gonna do that, they'll just get joggers, you know. So, but the women, they want that tight ankle. So like you know.
Well, what's cool is like now that you guys grow into the women demographic, you kind of already have women at your disposal because you've sold to their boyfriends, their husbands.
Exactly, and so now
built an audience.
Exactly. So now like you know, now that we have our pants established, we actually are bringing someone else on, and they're gonna do like a women's sportswear line. So they'll have leggings and stuff.
And it's gonna look good, man. Like your guys' pants. Like if you made the same pants you made now, hypothetically, right? If you made the same pants you make now, but they were tailored at the ankle, right? Or just like a business casual for a female, they would look better than leggings. Because like when girls come out in I'm not bashing anybody. Let me be careful. To me, it doesn't look. It does like if you're in real estate and you're wearing black leggings with like a nice shirt, it looks underdressed. They don't match. But if they're wearing jaywalkers with a blazer or something, oh, it matches. But yet they're flexible and stretchy, but you still get that business casual look and feel to them.
And it's funny because we actually had a tapered ankle at first, and then like we had to listen to customers' feedback, like, hey. You know, I can't wear this with certain items or at work. So, like, we had to make adjustments. So, we listened to that first batch. We listened to all the customer feedback, and we made adjustments on the clothes based off, like, what the majority of the customers were saying. There's always going to be someone unhappy. Someone's going to want the ankle tight. Someone's going to want it loose. So, we had to go with the majority on what they wanted and the people that are actually buying from us. So, I mean, we're still right now making new sizes. Still, this is an ongoing process. It's never going to be a perfect product. There's always going to be someone unhappy.
You guys will have more options, though, too. Like, but hey, when you're first growing, you got to have those one or two options do super well. And then, you know, in the end, as you guys expand your business, where like you're selling to realtors, to whoever, all of a sudden, if a business casual audience kind of comes into fruition, maybe that's where the tailored ankle comes from. But hey, until then, where you guys are selling at, if it's more fitted. But the bottom line is you're listening to your customer.
Exactly.
Super cool. Super cool. What do you guys have planned? Like I know we're getting out of here in a couple of minutes. I don't want to take the rest of your guys' day, but what's the biggest thing that you guys have coming up for this year, or what do you guys feel is most important for you guys right now?
Traveling, getting out there. So especially since COVID.
COVID's over.
Yeah, and
get
honestly,
out there more, do booths and stuff at some big events.
And COVID honestly helped us out a lot because during COVID, people were stuck at home. So
Shopping online.
Exactly. So, you know, for a lot of businesses, it actually hurt them. But because we didn't physically have a store and everything was just stored in the basement, it actually helped us. We had no our cost is low, and you know everybody's at home on their phone, so we're like it was a perfect time to push ads. And while everyone else like that might have been struggling, we were thriving during COVID. Honestly, so like I mean, it was for some people it was bad, but for us, it like
how did that come
helped.
about? Like when COVID was hitting, did you guys decide to triple down on some ads? Were you guys nervous at first? Like where did it come from as far as like you guys taking initiative to push through the storm of COVID?
I mean, I was definitely a little nervous at first because it sounded like, you know, all small businesses were taking a hit. But yeah, we quickly noticed that like it wasn't really. Honestly, it could have possibly helped us because more people were shopping online rather than going into retail stores.
And you know what I feel too is like a lot of people that maybe are reluctant to shop online because they think it's a pain in the ass. Once they were forced to shop online, then they realized, oh, this isn't that hard. And it's like a whole other audience comes in and they start buying.
A lot of people are, you know, scared to buy online sometimes because, you know, they buy the wrong size, they're unhappy, whatever. But, you know, we got Justin doing the, you know, free returns and exchanges. So that wasn't an issue for anybody. Like, hey, people are like, hey, I'm worried about, like, you know, I want to try your pants, but I'm worried they won't fit. I'm like, you know, don't worry about it. If you have any issues, email Justin and he'll take care of you immediately.
Right. Customer service.
That's a big deal.
Having a good fucking product.
Great product, yep.
And then just expanding your relationships.
But the whole thing has just been a huge learning process because none of us come from business or marketing backgrounds. And we've just been learning it all.
Yeah, like it's learning as we go. Like he did the like initially, like I said, he takes initiative. So the first thing we have to do is get an LLC, right? So
well, allegedly.
Yeah, so we had the idea.
This fucking exactly.
So we actually were like promoting the product before we even had an LLC.
Oh,
so we already had started Instagram and so like and then he initiates. He he's always the initiator. He goes in and gets the LLC, and then we're like sitting there and then he like fills it out and he's like, I was like, that's it, that's that easy. And then like we call the people like to make sure it was correct what he did. She's like, oh, you did this all by yourself? And like she's so impressed by Max that he like filled it out. And we're like, kind of self-explanatory. You just go through the steps. It's like
that's the thing, dude. Is like Eli talks about it all the time. Like every once in a while, if Eli, you know, gets on somebody a little bit because he cares for them, he says things like, "Hey, fucking Google it." I think we literally had a podcast
between Google and YouTube, bro.
Like, fuck, man. Like literally, like you can go Google like different educational classes. You can watch an entire curriculum from Stanford.
I could literally figure out how to take someone's appendix out from Google and YouTube. I swear to God.
We're not recommending that.
I mean, I didn't even have a coach. I just Googled everything and I turned pro as a bodybuilder.
But dude,
using Google, your resources.
But you got like you guys that are young in business. We're still young in our eyes in business, right? Like, but just it's these self-limiting circumstances that like people put on themselves.
They just
like,
don't
hey
think
man,
they can do it.
Hey dude, fucking Google the shit. Start plugging away. Whatever you can't figure out, you will start figuring out along the way. But just get fucking going.
Just get started. Just take the steps. And like when he did that, I was like, oh crap, he really did it. So I'm like, I can't back out now. Yeah. So because like I was just gonna like and then like well, he already paid for the LLC, so we might as well start doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, he already took the steps. I was like, well, I'm not gonna fail at it. I'm not gonna start something and don't finish it. Like I'm a type of person. If I start something, I'm gonna finish it. If I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna keep going until I get it done.
Yep.
What's the goal you guys think? Are you guys like big goal dudes? And I'm good either way. Like I'm not necessarily like the dream board guy, right? But there's other stuff that I just naturally do that other people talk about. But do you guys have like a vision or a goal in mind? Is like as far as where you guys want your advertisement in Times Square one day, or you want a certain amount sold? Do you guys have like goals or ambitions or a vision? Maybe that's a better question. Do you guys have a vision as far as like where you see Jaywalkers?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're both kind of. I mean, I'm kind of speaking for both of us. Justin might have a different opinion, but I think we're both just kind of wanting to get to that point where we don't have to, you know, do our other jobs and we can focus on this, get some more people on board and, you know, be able to, you know, run it and have way more just overall freedom to, you know, be able to do what we want to do, such as
where you guys have more of the influence to travel, where you're working, you're working on your business, not in your business.
And I mean, we're going to expand and do more. Like, I think there's more businesses we're going to open, but I don't want it to be based off of like income. So like this is just the financial freedom is going to allow me to do what I'm actually passionate about. So like, I mean, I didn't I didn't go to school for, fashion design. Neither one of us did. We don't know anything. Like we're sitting there and the manufacturer's actually like, what do you want the seat to be? And we're like, what's a seat? Let me Google it. We have no clue about fashion design.
Justin's like, oh, I like a fat
we're like,
what
wide?
What does that mean? A seat? So like,
but here's what you guys did know. You guys were active dudes. You found where there was like a gap in the industry for guys. And like, you might not know the terminology, but you knew what would work.
Yeah.
Like, you had the intuition of like, man, I don't know what this shit's called, but I know good shit when I get my hands on it and when I put it on and when I fit it. And
that's actually a name for it now.
then it's like trial and error, right?
Yeah.
It was, how many samples did you guys do? Trial and error. But this is the whole thing, man. Like,
thousands.
Too many.
dude, but the point is like, and maybe it took a little bit more because you weren't fashion guys. You didn't know certain things, but you figured it the fuck out. Like, there's just not enough talked about in business where it's like, people just, the whole paralysis by analysis, you overthink everything to where you do nothing. Or like, hey man, you got an idea, just go figure it the fuck out. Stop asking me 30,000 fucking,
Sometimes
just go figure it out.
Simple. Just,
It's always going to be that simple.
And then when it happens, you're like, is it really that simple?
Dude, when you hear about like Apple or Microsoft being started in a fucking garage, like, yeah, those guys are smart as shit. Doesn't matter. That's their craft. But it's in a garage. Like, they just got fucking going. They just figured it out. You know, like, there's just some cool shit to that. Super cool shit to that.
I need to go buy like 5 pair of these today. Where,
Dude, I got. See, I'm better than you.
I know.
No, not better. Quicker. Excuse me. That was painful. How can I say?
Where
that to
can
you?
people find you guys?
Just www.jaywalkersapparel.com or
JAW.
just so just the letter J dash Walkers.
Where'd
is
that
the
name
actual
come from?
name.
I gotta ask. We talked about it a little bit before the podcast, but before we get out of here,
You want to say it?
where'd it come from? Like, Justin was jaywalking, got arrested in the
Well,
pants.
That's how it started. But
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I had those pants on and like I was working a security job. So I was just like, I don't have time to go home and change. Like I was too busy working between Fit Republic and that. So I was just like, I'm just gonna work out in these pants. They're stretchy, and like people are looking at me, what are you doing, bro? You can't work out in these pants. I was like, why not?
No.
Like, why can't I?
Yeah.
And like people aren't supposed to jaywalk, but they're gonna just do it anyways because why not? They're crunched for time. There's not enough time. It's like, hey, I'm gonna jaywalk. I need to get to where I need to go. So I was like, I'm just gonna work
just
out.
pushing limits.
Yeah,
like,
it's like I need to get to where I need to go, so I'm not changing.
But think about
and
it.
So
Like,
it's like a
idealistically, like, hey, do I need to walk a half mile down to the traffic light where there's a crosswalk and just fit into this box that society and
tells me,
and conspiracies want me to fit into, or could I just like take some risk, look both ways, maybe have to run a little bit, but fucking jaywalk and like go against the grain a little bit.
That's
So it's
exactly
about
how
Push the
like,
fucking limits.
Convenience and like versatility.
Exactly.
I would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I
you
like
can do
that.
you. That's our slogan. So you can do
I
you.
like
So
it.
just
Yep. So you can do
saves you time. You get to where you need to do. Focus on what you're actually trying to do instead of worrying about what you're wearing. So that's kind of
I could see like this after once you go to their Instagram and you see all their cool shit. Like I could definitely, Eli, I could see like this jaywalker movement where you have like 3,000 parkour dudes downtown jaywalking from like downtown to like Southeast Aurora, just jaywalking for 20 miles, parkouring it the entire way.
Yeah. That's not
For
a bad
like a
marketing.
fucking
we're actually probably
marketing.
gonna do that
Jaywalker
now.
like
We're
pandemic.
gonna get that video made.
Like a bunch of like high-speed zombies from I Am Legend.
It's great. Yeah.
In jaywalkers.
It's a great idea.
Just fucking ripping it.
Love it.
Super excited, man.
Well, cool. Well, guys, listening, we're going to put in the show notes the link tree. You can find these guys, your guys' Instagram, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
We're going to put that on there. I'm legitimately going to go buy like 5 pair of pants today because that's my struggle, man. The thighs are too tight, waist is too big.
Eli's got an onion booty. Booty so big, make you want to cry.
That's the best. But that's it. So, yeah, we'll throw all that stuff in there. Will, any last words, bro?
No, man, I get so, I hope I didn't take the mic too much from you today. I just get so jazzed up from guys that are like, hey, I got an idea, and we're going to go figure it the fuck out. We're going to commit to each other. We're going to commit to the product. We're going to commit to taking care of people and just watch what happens with that. Like, it's just powerful. And, man, like, I can say it all day. It's whatever. But when we can have some guests on that are actually in the trenches doing it, that can empower our audience and to just hear more of what they're doing. And yeah, man, we're realtors. We've built something specific, but a lot of you guys that listen might not be in the broker world. This is not a real estate podcast. This is an entrepreneurship podcast. So having you guys on, man, I think it'll resonate to a lot of people. And more importantly, man, like they got good shit. Go look it up, go buy it, have some fun with it. And if you guys do, let us know your thoughts on it.
It's cool. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Day $1 out.
I'ma sip it on down and turn it up.